Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Photo Department. Leica is one of those brand names that's instantly recognizable, like Rolex or Ferrari. And like those watches and cars, only a select few people can afford to own them because they are so expensive. There's only been a few times I've actually handled a Leica camera, but I've actually never shot one unless you count the M9 and Digital M that my old studio used to own. But I don't think Leica purists would count those in having shot a Leica camera because, as most people know or imagine, the 35mm Leica experience is pretty unique. My friend John Thatcher is a phenomenal portrait photographer and he has his very own style. He shoots mostly film and he is a dedicated Leica fanboy, and I think he's okay with me calling him that. He owns a few Leicas now, and I think he's owned a good amount of Leicas in the past couple of years. John recently decided he wanted to get out of his comfort zone of the portrait photography world and start doing some street photography. He invited me to go with him to a small town in the Bay Area called Port Costa, which is really old and seriously really tiny. So we can try to find some cool architecture, old cars, and maybe just see what we can find in this small town away from the usual place you do street photography, a big urban environment like San Francisco or Oakland. John decided to bring his Leica MP on this trip, and this specific model of Leica is unique in that it has a built-in light meter. I haven't done any scientific testing as far as the light meter goes, but judging by how these images came out from development, it looks like it's pretty dead accurate. Now, I'm not going to go over a full feature breakdown or talk about the different models of Leica cameras or even give you much of a history. I just wanted to kind of bring you guys along on this little adventure that John and I had, and the first real deep dive I've taken looking at Leica cameras. So what are you shooting? Let me see the cassette.
You have some Lomo or Hundo. All right.
As we were walking around downtown, we ran into John's friend Jesse, who is also a Leica shooter, and he happened to have his M2 with him, so he joined us to shoot and hang out for a little while. We all geeked out over Leicas and photography, and took some portraits, took some street photography. Jesse was shooting with a pretty slow film. He had his camera loaded up with Ilford Pan F, which is a ISO 50 film, which is pretty damn slow, especially when you're shooting that close to sunset. John, on the other hand, had Kodak Pro Image 100, which is a really cool film that I've never tried, and Kodak Portra 160.
Right?
I haven't shot any full
super
pan.
blacks. I get super dark blacks.
I guess for me, the whites were always gray. Yeah, so this is my Leica MP. I have the newer spherical Summicron, the 35 f2, and then I shoot the 50 f2 Summicron. They're both modern lenses. I like using Leica because of how bare bones they are. There's no autofocus. I like the MP because it has a light meter built in, which is just something I found that I like to work with. It works better for my workflow. But I love this camera because of how strong it is, how sturdy, and it's just a classic. And I think that it just helps me focus a little bit more when I'm shooting. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty standard. When I got it, it didn't have as much brassing, but I hold my camera like this all the time, so you can see like where my fingers have rubbed, and you can see like where I wound the roll up. But I just hold it so much right here that it's just like worn off right in that same area, which, so I'll love this camera forever. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. Probably because, you know, it feels like has me all over it. I know a lot of people sketch their name into it, and I've been thinking about it. Sounds stupid, but I don't know. So what shooting with this camera has done for me is it helps me to really slow down with the images I take and with the ideas that I have. I feel like with a lot of cameras, especially digital cameras, you'll kind of just shoot everything and then hope one of them is good. And I think for me, when I first started really using this camera, I was, you know, you only have 36 exposures, and I think it helped me frame things up and then decide before I shot whether I liked it or not. And I also think that having something of this size made it easier for me to walk around and carry it more, which I used to not. I used to have a backpack when I'd have my camera. So I think that this becoming more of my daily carry because of its size and its ability to help me slow down my photography has really made a big impact on me. And that's why I shoot with this camera a lot. I got this from Ryan Muirhead.
I ended up actually developing the film and scanning them at home myself, and I was actually really impressed with the results that John was able to get on slow films and limited light availability. I think a lot of that has to do with the ability to shoot longer shutter speeds with a heavier camera, and you can be a lot more steady, whereas if you had a lighter camera, it might be more shaky. Lastly, the biggest thing that really impressed me about the Leica cameras were the lenses. John was shooting with a 35mm Summicron, which is an f2. I'm looking at all these images and they are really sharp. The colors look great, the rendering looks amazing, and they really do have their own special character. Leica lenses do command a premium, and if you've ever seen their cinema lenses, they're crazy expensive, but they are sought after and renowned for their quality for a good reason. These lenses are no nonsense and they are really fantastic. This is all kind of making me even more excited to try shooting a Leica camera. Thank you for watching this episode. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and supporting me. This channel has been going for almost 3 years now, and it's really great that I get so much good feedback, and you guys have become kind of this little family, and it's really sweet. It's really cool. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, and make sure you hit the bell notification icon because you want to see that video of me shooting my first Leica. I think it's going to be pretty cool. As always, you can follow me on Instagram. If you want to tell me about your favorite Leica, why you love Leica cameras, or why you hate them, please leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. All right, see you guys.